Okay, welcome to Graphical Techniques, Unit 1 for the Graphic Design Level 2 award. What I'm going to take you through in terms of a series of techniques is some refresher sort of techniques, things like your path tools, things like union, difference, intersection, exclusion, and so on. I'm also going to show you how to create things like 8 balls. One really useful thing for any form of web design is web icons, so I'm going to show you how to create a Facebook icon, which you can then create your own versions of in the future. I'm then going to show you how to create a little stick man, and I'm also going to then take you into another piece of software called GIMP, which stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program, which is a free equivalent of Photoshop. So literally, as I said, it's a refresher course to a degree, so that people, if they have forgotten certain things, and they can kind of gain an idea of how to do things. And I'm just going to take you up a level, and what we're going to do is look at path tools and the union, difference, intersection, exclusion, division. And because obviously it is now a level 2, I think it's important that we use these tools to maybe to some benefit, rather than just to say, oh, I can do it. So I thought a good thing would be to have a look at some geometric art. With QR codes being of great popularity at the moment, I thought it was a good idea to play with that, and the use of squares and the grid system to start off and create a kind of QR-esque graphical element. Now the way I would do that very quickly, I'm just going to delete that, and the way I would start, say, my second quarter of my graphic is by going to my square tool here, or my rectangle, and just make sure that it snaps to a grid. And I'm just going to create a square 2x2, and I'm going to make sure it goes black. So that is my first tool, and it's all about duplication and the use of different path tools here to do this particular tutorial. So I'm going to right click on this square, hit duplicate, and then all I'm going to do is start from the top left hand corner, and I'm going to pull this down until it snaps in line with the second to another grid corner. I'm going to do that again a couple of times until I've got a fairly interesting sort of graphical shape. And then I am going to go select all of them by clicking and dragging over all the squares so they're all highlighted. I can also do that by clicking on the top shape, hold down shift, click the second, third and fourth, and that will select all of it, and go to path and union. Okay, so there's my sort of start of this shape. Now, in order to get a slightly more different sort of result, I'm going to duplicate it again. It's all about duplication. I'm going to scale it down a little bit. I'm going to make it go white so I can see what kind of shape and result I'm going to get. And then I'm going to hit V on my keyboard, and that will give me a kind of idea of what the shape is going to look like. I'm now again using my shift tool. I'm going to click the first shape I created, click the white shape, holding down shift so they're both selected, go to path and difference. So I've now just got this one shape. Okay, again I'm going to duplicate it, ensuring that it always kind of sits inside the within the lines of the grid. So I may need to just move that about a bit so it sits in, and then I'm going to hold down select the top one, hold down shift, path, union. Okay, so I've got half of my quarter. I'm going to duplicate that again and hit H, and then using my keyboard I'm just going to click the right arrow key and just move that along. So there is my first kind of shape using the union tool, path and difference tool for that matter. Now that's my top graphic. I'm now going to start on using some of the other different path tools, just making sure that that's black. Now I'm going to create a 3x3 square this time, duplicate, and I'm going to pull that down so it's double the size, and I'm also going to create another one and duplicate and just pull that into there. Duplicate it again. I'm going to make an even smaller square here. I'm going to path and union, and what I'm now going to do is duplicate it. I'm going to hit V and then H, size it down. See what it looks like when it's white, and I'm going to put it a little bit further along. I'm actually going to make it go red so I can see it once it's outside the square. I'm now going to select the bottom shape and the top shape, and hold down shift and select both. Go to path, and this time I'm going to use intersection, which leaves me with that small shape there. Okay, what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do that, but what I want to do is get a little bit more out of that interesting graphic. So I'm going to duplicate it by hitting Control and D, go to H, move that along, ensuring that it is only one square away. And I'm going to go to making sure both squares are the same. I'm going to go path, and this time I'm going to go to exclusion, so it leaves me with that shape. Select the first shape I did and go to path and intersection. Right, so I've got two pretty useful shapes. I'm going to unionize both of them, path, union. I'm going to move that in line with the top shape so it's now part of the corner, and scale it down so that it's the same width as every graphic in the top row as well. I'm going to move that up so it's one line away. I'm going to go to Control D, press V for vertical on the keypad, and I'm going to flip that and pull that down. So there is another interesting monochrome graphic. Right, so that's my third one. I'm now going to create a fourth one. I'm going to make sure that the black is set so everything is in black and white, so it looks nice and smart. And my last sort of relevant path tool to use will probably be, imagine, the division tool. So I'm going to just see what I can get as a result from that. And this is the type of task it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly the same, but if you wanted to just follow what I've done in this particular task, then fine. I'm going to duplicate this again, and I'm going to create another shape here by just literally path, union. Experiment with this because I'll be interested to see what kind of results come from it. Hit V. I'm going to select both, go path, union. Some very interesting shapes now. Control D, which is duplicate, horizontal. I'm going to flip it, going and hitting the H button on my keypad. I'm going to unionize them. Okay, size that down so it's all in the same width as the graphic on the top layer, which is almost the case. Now I'm going to move that up in line with the top graphic, in line with the bottom graphic as well, so horizontally it's in the right space. I'm going to hit Control D to duplicate. I'm going to hit H on the keypad to flip it. Sorry, V to flip it, and not H. And then I'm going to hit the down arrow on my keypad to move it all down. So I've got that graphic there. I'm going to go to path, select both, go path and union to stick it all together like before. And this time I'm going to use a circle, do something a little bit different. I'm going to select the circle, select the top one, the bottom shape graphic, the circle, and I'm going to go to path and division. Okay, and what that should allow me to do is wherever that circle has covered the bottom graphic, allow me to create a division of that shape and pull that down here. Move that up a little bit. I'm going to go back a couple of steps so I can get that looking equal. Move that up. Do the same for that one. Okay. We unionize all of this. What I've now got is a sort of geometric art piece using the path tools. So the task would be to try and experiment with that and see what kind of results you can get, because we can use these graphics that we're creating here in the next stage, which is how we integrate this all into GIMP.